Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another day of the video doing. How's it going today? Today we're on campus. The weather is already roastingly warm. It's delicious. If anything, I should be wearing shorts, not jeans. But we're on campus today. I have one revision lecture at 9:15, and then I have a huge day of group coursework. It's been a relatively small flurry of work that was done last night on the document, so we've got some stuff to look over. I mean, like we're preparing now for the last legs. I'm expecting to stay on campus for quite a decent amount of time, as we kind of all sit on campus and like force ourselves to do it. Like other people may be more willing to work if we're all together. That's the theory in a way. So that's why we're here. And with that in mind, because I'm going to be here for so long, I've brought myself a little treat. to see if I can help myself last longer. We'll see if we need it or not, eh? Otherwise, I am planning on going. Have you noticed that I always walk through this building here to get to wherever I need to go? I'm currently going to the library to go in. In fact, no, I might go to the lab, to the lecture actually. Yeah, I'm just going to go directly to the lecture. But I always go this way because it's always quiet and I can always vlog there. And normally as well, there are very few water fountains on campus, like to get water from. You know what I mean? Like drinking fountains. The only ones that I know exist are in this building, to be fair, one of the newest buildings, and the library. But every other building, like you have to kind of steal a lecturer's kitchen somewhere. Otherwise, I'm going to the lecture now to go and do HCR revision up until about 10 o'clock, and then I move over onto group work. I need to prioritise group HCI. It's worth more to me than the group work, unfortunately. And like I've done a considerable amount of group work as well, so I can't. But like I say, as soon as the group turns up, it'll be full-on group time. Otherwise, good news. Less crazy dreams last night. I didn't murder anyone. However, I did dream that we were doing some kind of. I was doing some kind of obstacle. There was also something with cars as well. I don't remember that. But I was doing some kind of obstacle course. And I was running with this person, and she ran like ahead. I don't know who she was. She ran like ahead, and I was like, watch out for the crocodile. And then she dodged the crocodile. I ran past, and then Graham, in a ball, ran towards the crocodile. So the girl runs in, grabs Graham, gets her through to the next room, opens up Graham's ball, then goes to eat her. So I like dived for her mouth to try and like break her jaw open, so she couldn't chew on Graham. And she just chewed on it and I woke up. It was horrible. What the fuck's wrong with me, guys? I'm fucked. This uni's ruined me. It's ruined me this year. God damn it. Oh, it was traumatic. I woke up like, I actually like full on jolted up like, oh god. Like a nightmare. Oh god, I don't know what's wrong. I generally don't know what's wrong with me. But yeah, fun times, right? Fun times. Otherwise, what else is going on today? It's the council elections, which means that we've got to go vote for a mayor in Bristol. Got to vote for a council member that we don't know about because there's been there's nothing, no documents or anything to talk about who are the council members and all that kind of stuff. Only the mayor, because no one cares about anyone else but the mayor in Bristol. And also police commissioner, but what the fuck does he do, you know what I mean? Otherwise, someone left a comment, I haven't replied to it yet, on like a video a while ago, either yesterday's or the day before. They were like, is campus always that quiet? I always imagined that I'd see more people walking around. And like, to clarify, the reason it's quiet now is because it's 8 o'clock in the morning and students are lazy. To be fair, around exam period, we'll start getting up earlier in order to go and secure seats in the library because there isn't enough seats on there. However, as a general rule of thumb, if you're here before 9 o'clock, the campus is dead. Otherwise, if it's empty later when I'm walking around, it's normally because I'm walking around while lectures are on, rather than in the gaps between lectures when most people would be walking about. Also, it's revision week, so there are less lectures than there normally are in a full week. So, anyway, right, let's go to my lecture. I just saw my lecturer just casually like walking along and my camera battery died, so I decided to change my camera battery. He's there, he's going to go get a coffee, I think. God damn it, I'm going to the end lecture like an hour early. I don't want to fucking talk to him for an hour on my own. Yeah, that's why it's not normally this quiet. I deliberately walk around either A, when it's quiet, or B, where it's quiet, so that I can vlog. But I'll show you later how busy it is, like after 9 o'clock, in the gaps between lectures. And then like, whatever it is, double it, because it's revision week, so not many people are here in the first place. Like normally there's like obviously lectures all day, whereas now there'd only be like the odd lecture. Like we've only got one HCI lecture a week this week, whereas normally we have 2 and all that kind of stuff. Some lectures we don't even have, entrepreneurship we didn't even have. We only had 1 cryptography, so that's why it's so quiet. But it's something I'm going to try and take advantage of later when I treat myself. Otherwise, the amount of time that I'm spending on campus today is completely at the whim of my team. I'm like expecting to stay here until gone 6. Well, no, gone 5 at the very latest, at the very earliest, but potentially longer because like we've got a lot we need to organise. And like I say, people might be more willing to work if they're here on campus rather than at home. The payoff to this is we may, if we can get enough done today, it may mean that I don't have to come into campus tomorrow, which I don't want to do. I want to do proofreading at home and then revision. Speaking of which, that's what I'm going to do now. I'm about an hour and 15 minutes early. Ironically, that last lecture finished early, so it's still really quiet. Like I say, during revision week, no one's around anyway. Otherwise, that was a good like revision lecture. We got to ask loads of questions as well because there was only 3 of us in there, and we were like, we're all friends, so no stupid questions, if you know what I mean. I am now heading into Chancellor's. I'm going to try and Bagsy as a good table in the group work rooms, so when the group meets in like an hour or so, hopefully, we'll get loads of work done. A good spot with good access to power plugs. Feeling relatively confident about HCI. I don't think it requires a ridiculous amount of revision. I think if I sat it now, I'd do really well. I'd get like a 2-1 potentially at first. Obviously, so therefore, like if I just kind of revise over the weekend / tomorrow, then I should do really well, which is good. Confident about that. Cryptography is not the case. I think pretty certain I'd fail it if I set it now. So it's a good job. I can revise cryptography on its own and not be contended. Like, cryptography revision isn't contending with this group work. I need to make sure I breathe when I walk up steps, because I'm talking all the time. I never breathe in. Starting to flag now, spending a lot of time writing this bloody report talking about advertising and marketing. Oh, it's so boring, and I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm thinking about starting my lunch break soon. I need to take like 30 minutes out, and then re-jump back on. God, just look how nice and straight and swooshy this little bit of carpet is. Requiring a lot of willpower. Like, how am I supposed to know how much it's going to cost to acquisition a fucking user through online advertising over television advertising? I don't bloody know. I was heading outside for some fresh air. It's like 4:30. I don't feel like we're close. I don't know how long we're going to stay until, like, potentially post 6. Which isn't... I'm not particularly happy with. I mean, I feel like I've done all the work. That's not true, but I've done a disproportionately large amount, I think. And I feel like I should be at the stage now where I could just proofread and like I don't need to add any more. At which point am I? But it's getting to me now because I've been in that room for so bloody long. I'm going to head on outside, get some fresh air. And deliberately picking a time when there's not many people around. Because that's the way I roll. And also because... Yeah, buddy. Should make more of a productive break than sitting and reading the news. Productive break, what I mean is it's a little bit more fun, you know? And the weather is absolutely divine. I'm not really convinced I'm allowed to do this on parade. Yeah, buddy. Problem is to keep up. You've got to keep up speed to justify it. Oh, steady. Oh, look. It's pretty fucking sweet. It's got to be said. Oh, I'm having so much fun. Got to be said. Feels pretty nice. Question now is: do I take it with me to the car, or do I take it back to the room with me? Good, difficult decision. brilliant place to longboard though. It's like so flat slash downhill, look. Oh man. Woo! I think I've already like identified that longboard's pretty good in car parks. But yeah, Baths is no different. Beautiful, man. I do have to get in and clean the bearings at some point now. That's reminded me. But there you go, look, all these mugs doing exercise. Here's me, cool as fuck. Anyway, I think it's about time I should go back to work. Should I take the longboard with me though? I think so. Why not? And I could longboard out. The thing is, right, university is one of the only places that is big enough to get away with longboarding inside, in places, if you hide it quickly before the security finds you. I imagine it's not allowed. I'm sure it's not on their like approved modes of transport list, but I mean it's pretty fun. Bye bye sports field. Bye bye. This ground sounds ever so strange. It's so bobbly. It's part of the reason why. Well, it's not. I need to get in and like clean the bearings. I bought the stuff for it ages ago, but never had time. But it's something that's got to be on my to-do list at some point. Oh my god, that's so smooth. That's ridiculous. Oh. Back to work. I mean, like, I had to explain this to the crew, but hey, it's a bit harder on concrete, on carpet. It's not as good as you'd imagine. This lift literally just got. That was really strange. This lift was sat here on this floor. I pressed the button, and then the one from floor 1 started coming up. And then that one opened, now people in it, and then this one opened. That is strange. So, we're just heading on home now. Still got work to do, but not much work to do, so that's good. Well, a decent amount of work to do tonight. But we get to go home. Wait. Ready? Let's go. Ah. Oh, this is so fucking cool. Hey, security camera, don't worry about me. I'll be out your hair before you get a chance. Oh, it's so smooth inside. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Can I get through the doors? They're so slow. This is totally worth it, by the way, guys. Totally bloody worth it. Oh, can I do the corner? Potentially running into a car that was deciding to park in the spot right there. Right, okay. So I'm going to head on home. I'm going to have some dinner. We're going to go and vote in the election. And then I've got more work to do. So let's listen to the last episode of Serial. And time jump, ladies and gentlemen. I've still got like 15 minutes of Serial to listen to. It was a long episode. Graham, by the way, is just chilling. Look at her. Hello, Graham. Confused because she thought everyone had gone to bed, but no. I've been working next door, Graham. Got back to the flat and Laura had cooked dinner for me, which was lovely. She normally makes me dinner on Thursdays because like I get back so late that we'd eat at a ridiculous, like I normally leave campus at about 6 if I go to that lab, so Laura's already back by 6, so it doesn't make sense to thingy. So we had tuna and pasta bacon. It was delicious. Genuinely the nice. I don't know whether I was like starving, but it was like the nicest tuna and pasta bacon I've ever had. We then wandered over to the polling station to cast our votes in the local council elections and the mayor election and the PCC. I think I talked about this earlier on in the video. And then came back, had a cup of tea to chill out a bit, and then started working on the group coursework again. I had another bit of my section to write, which was I've done basically all of the revenue and all of the marketing, and I had to do a bit on customer feedback, but halfway through it I lost the will to live. So I decided to go back and do some proofreading, because what we basically said that we'd get content rich by the time of the meeting tomorrow, bearing in mind the deadline tomorrow. At that point we can just proofread till our heart's content, and then hopefully submit on time with a decent piece of coursework that sounds good. My plan was to come back to that thing that I lost the will to live at tomorrow, in order to go over it properly and stuff, because I realised that what I was writing was absolute garbage and I'm like, no, it's time to stop. I've spent so long on this today, like literally since 10 o'clock. It's been constant, apart from 30 minutes of lunch and the amount of time I spent on my longboard. So I've essentially been like fucking wall to wall this report, and I'm bored. So fucking bored of it. So anyway, I'll proofread another section. We've all been assigned another section to proofread, and I was reading someone else's section that so far I haven't seen them at a group meeting since Easter. One of those was my fault because I came home ill one day, but otherwise it's because they've never been there and they haven't been to like any lectures or anything, so I literally haven't seen them at all. And the work they were doing had they kind of put it into the document either last night or the night before, so it's like quite a late edition. So anyway, I was proofreading that section and I found loads of problems with it, like loads, to the point where I completely rewrote a paragraph to the point of there being like 3 or 4 words that weren't edited in some way. Like, it didn't read like a report that a final year university student would write. It sounded like, here's a definition. They were doing the legal structure of the company that we're setting up and why we're picking it. They basically just listed a load of legal structures, named some features about them, and then said, we don't want that, we do want this. With no real reason, rhyme or reason about it, and it's still not finished yet, it's still being written. So anyway, I kind of had enough of the amount of work that I feel like I've been putting into this project and other people haven't been. Pulled them out into a group chat and was like, this section reads nothing like the rest of the document, it's not up to the standard of the rest of the document, it needs a lot more work before it's ready. And if I remember correctly, this same person was really late to doing the risk section of the first coursework, and it got completely rewritten on the day of, handed by someone else. It wasn't me, by someone else. It was like that same standard of it. It's essentially got to be rewritten to something better, because it's, yes, it described like it's such a low, it wouldn't get many marks is what I'm saying. But anyway, that was like showing fucking red rag to a bull. So he goes off on one and starts being like, well, this bit's explained here, because I went through, did the suggestion changes, and then started highlighting bits like why. There's no explanation behind any of this. Even the basics is like PEE, which is point, example, explain. It's literally just a point. There is no example. There's no explanation. There's no applying it to our business. There's just this hand wavy, we don't want to be a sole trader kind of thing. To which point he goes through and replies to all of them. Calls me a doofus a couple of times, Then, I assume you can watch these videos as well, so if you're watching, hello. It's after the coursework deadline now, so it doesn't matter. By the time this is uploaded anyway, because it won't be uploaded until tomorrow. I was late uploading today's video because I forgot about it, because of the polls and stuff. Anyway, this person has like a tendency to just kind of go off the handle on what I consider to be fair, relatively aggressive constructive criticism. I'm saying that this needs this needs this. Yes, I'm saying that you need to do more work, but you haven't really done all that much work, so you shouldn't really complain. So, I mean, to put it into perspective, right, although it's not 100% on the amount that you've written, for example, someone else in the group has done a relatively small section, but what their section is quite complicated and it's really well done, and they've gone through everyone else's sections and done a lot of proofreading, got a lot of time for the boy, it's really, really good. My section is about 12 pages long at the moment, although it has got some revisions in it which makes it a bit more page chunky than it otherwise would be. So probably over 10, we'll just say over 10. And the page, we've got to aim for between 30 and 40 pages, and there's 5 of us, and I've done 12 pages out of 40, when really I should do about 8 pages. I should do 20%. I should have done something closer to 35%, and this other person's done closer to 14%. So it's the reason it's pissed me off is because essentially, to get the marks that we deserve, we need to do everything to the standard that we want to do it at, right? Which is a first 2-1 standard. So if one person doesn't do that, that slack's got to be picked up somewhere, i.e. by me or by the other people of the team. Similar to how in coursework 1 the slack was picked up by someone else. But the thing is, right, we've spent a considerable amount of time this week working on this document. Mostly because we left it last minute, because we spent so much time on our dissertations, we didn't want to spend time on this. But we spent a considerable amount of hours this week doing it. This other person hasn't, they've just kind of done 2-3 hour bursts overnight. compared to our 7 hours sat on campus solidly working as a 4. So not only are we being shafted because we're putting in all the work for them to get a good grade without doing any work, but also they can just sit at home doing revision for exams that I'm not doing revision for because I'm doing work for them. For them, they get to do less work in entrepreneurship and get a good mark out of it because we'll do the work, and also get a better mark in the exams because they've got more time to revise for it than we do because we're spending time doing work on entrepreneurship. And I think that's really, really unfair. And I've sent an email to the lecturer to say, like, in future, it probably pays to have some kind of group work contribution form, which is something we have in like the lower years, in like first and second year, where you can mark how much contribution people have done. So say, like in the optimal scenario, everyone would say we did 20% of the work. In a scenario where someone didn't pull their weight, you'd figure it out, you'd say, okay, well you probably did like 10%, in which case their marks get scaled to suit. Because essentially at the moment there's no downside, let's say, to in fact there's only upsides to sitting back doing a half-assed job, and as long as you know that the rest of the team is going to pick up your slack, then why not let some slack go, you know what I mean? So that's that basically. It's relatively stressful. I thought it would be something, it's obviously, I knew it was a group coursework before I took the module, but I thought this kind of stuff would be avoidable in final year because everyone would want to get the best mark possible. And I mean, like in coursework 1 we got a first, and we were the best group out of the entire lecture theatre. Like out of every other group on the module, we were the best group. So I thought that, like, because it's final year, the marks matter, people would have a conscience and not dick people over like that, you know? So anyway, that's that. Tomorrow I am heading to campus again. I'll be there from about 8 o'clock till about 4 o'clock when the hand-in is, and we'll be working more or less solidly, my longboard's still in the car, more or less solidly on proofreading this document and making sure it's tip-top and shiny before we hand it in. Apparently this person I've essentially had an argument with tonight is available, and will be coming to a meeting tomorrow, which is fucking mental. And yeah, so A, that's going to be awkward, B, it's going to be a long tiring day, and C, when it's finished I need to jump onto HCR revision. Although, like I say, I don't feel too scared about HCR revision, so it's because I went to all the lectures and this person hasn't been to a single HCI lecture all year. That's the kind of person we're talking about here. You'd think they'd have a lot of time to sit and do coursework, right? No, what they actually do is fuck around in a different city and don't come to meetings. Banter. I'll go bed. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.
Graham says good night, but also, if you want to leave the door open, I don't mind. I don't mind. It gets a bit stuffy in here sometimes. It might be nice to have the door open and let me escape.